Oh, we're live and we're on air, man. We're so live. We're such alive. We're alive at 5, except at 8:30 and not at 5. Oh my. Oh my goodness. We got all kinds of war stuff going on. It's beautiful out there in the world. Fucking beautiful. We got war everywhere. Maybe I should close this so the neighbors can't hear me. Because they're spies. There's so many dirty spies in this town. And it's sad because this, for America, this town is one of the nicer towns you're going to see. Did you know that Hangouts on Air is getting eliminated from YouTube, Google? And when that happens, poor people that don't have a computer that can handle running third-party streaming software are going to be shut out of actually being able to have live streams and communicate with people online. Because if you didn't know it, it's that fucking the direct streaming is how you are able to use these older, crappier computers to stream with. And once you make it to where you have to have OBS, you just shutting out millions and millions, all the millions of poor people. It's like myself. But I got a workaround on this, folks, okay? Because soon in the near futures or something, we're going to be living on the road most likely. I should really get the Dremel out and cut those bolts down. I got these bolt studs that are sticking like at 2 inches down on our trailer, and I should probably change that. Anyways, that's something from outside. Don't worry about it. Well, anyways, so in the event that I'm not able to stream anymore. Hey, puppies. I'm getting hungry, too. I woke up and I had a coffee and a soda, and I guess I'm supposed to eat some kind of food. But anyways, man. Oh, wow. Oh, my gosh. This next bit of war in Syria is going to get real ugly, man. I'll tell you that's today. Oh, nice to know. That was not even, oh, come on. That article is just trying to sneak through as if I'm not going to notice it. Oh, yeah, for the whole streaming thing. In the event that I'm not able to stream, which I know I got to send an email to Corn Lips. So I'm working on that. I forgot to do it yesterday because I had to email the lawyer people. Now I'm having an aversion to looking at my email because the slimeball lawyers are going to respond with something ridiculous, and then I'm going to have to respond back and blah, blah, blah. I hate this whole negotiating thing. I'm a fighter. I'm a soldier. I'm not really wanting to talk to people and work things out. I think the best way to negotiate is to punch somebody in the face until they capitulate to me. Hey, Melissa. Hey, we're doing pretty fucking good, I think. I hope. The weather's all icky cloudy, but I don't know. Oh, I wanted to find out what the weather's going to be today. Ugh. And it's saying normal. It's like this for the whole fucking week.
Really?
Yeah. Just blah 70. Well, they're saying by Monday, the weekend, they're saying it's going to be hot this weekend, up into the low 80s, maybe high 70s, and then
that's really not hot.
Well, for here it is, and then it's going to drop back down into being all the way down into the low 70s, but no rain, just cloudy, icky, blah weather. So blah, 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 like that. I have to make breakfast soon. I'll work on that. I'll work on the breakfasts. That's what the weather says, though. Oh, okay. But there's all kinds of crazy shit happening in war stuff. I can't even link. I'm using the two computers. This way I can read the news to you. And man, American fucking combat fucking vehicles look like fucking crap. They're just pieces of shit nowadays, man. I mean, I guess they always have been. Like the only good vehicle, the fucking Army has, the U.S. military has, is the chassis of the M1 Abrams, whatever that chassis is called. But that's like Cold War era stuff. It's like, that's all they got. Those Bearcats are so tall, they're just fucking asking to get shot the shit out of them. And Humvees are a piece of shit. I mean, they have their engines and their suspension system is underpowered and it can't handle the weight. So they're always getting stuck and breaking down. Like fucking power steering pumps blow up on them all the time. And they get stuck everywhere because they don't have enough fucking engine power in the powertrain to get them out of like through the terrain. They just suck. Anyways, so how are you, Melissa? Good morning, by the way. It's the weekend. Do you have to go work at the stupid Target place, or are you off today? You got vacation? Is it sexy time? It might be sexy time. I don't know. But other people said they were going to show up today. So in case there's people watching that are unaware of this, awesome. You got a day off. Sweet. You go to the club and find yourself some people to get all sexy with or something. You know, something fun. Do some legal drugs. But I guess if you work at Target, you can't even smoke weed, even if it's legal. But oh my God, the humidity. Oh, hey. I'm reading. Blah. Oh, I read this already. This is just a newer article of the same incident. Anyways, if you don't know this, because you know how Trump said that they're ending all wars and pulling all the troops out of everywhere, that was a lie. And we have 50,000 troops spread across Iraq, mainly in the Al Anbar province region, down there in the desert near Sudan and Syria. Anyways, their main base there, somebody launched a couple of mortars there. It's really no big deal, because when I was in Iraq, we got shot with mortars like every night. So it's like, whatever. It's just something you learn to live with. And they're saying the Green Zone got another rockets or something thrown at it. But anyways, 50,000 troops in Iraq. And that's before Trump sent the 1,500 more. And if they say, and just so you know, the Pentagon is no longer under control of Congress now. If you know how they're sending troops here and there and everywhere, and they're doing military operations against countries that Congress hasn't told them they can do war with. What that means is the American military is no longer under our command. Well, it was never under our command, but it's not even under the command of the nominal fucking president anymore. It's going around doing what it wants to do. And that means we're a lawless nation. That's just the fact, all right? We're a nation without laws. We're a rogue nation. The USA is a slave-owning fucking criminal shithole. That's what we all are, and we need to get your freedoms back for us. And we need to get some freedom back for us, people. It's time for some freedoms up here in America. And it starts with being able to say nigger online. Because there's no rules for free speech. It's not like, oh, you're free to say what you want, except for this hate speech words you're not allowed to say, and you're not allowed to say certain things in court, and you're not allowed to dress how you want, and you can't fucking have a party and light a piece of inanimate object on fire because it has certain patterns on it. That kind of stuff. That means you don't have free speech. The second somebody tells you what you can and can't do or say that doesn't harm anybody else around you, the second they try to dictate to you what you have to wear and how you have to look and what you can't say, it's no longer free speech. It's controlled speech, which is the opposite of free speech. So you can go back in history however far. Watch your boobs. Don't put your boobs on the camera.
Boobs are safe.
Your boobs are safe.
They go flopping around sometimes.
But her boobs are just flying, man.
Hey.
Melissa's got a day off. She said she wanted
Right
to
on.
come over. And
you're watching this guy?
I know. He should be out there partying. Wait, it's early. Probably drinking coffee.
Yeah, the bars aren't open yet. Or
her mom's getting tired of it. What the hell? Oh no.
It's true that we live in a fascist shithole.
Just today.
You can't help but point it out.
This is some bullshit. Look at this. It just happened. This website just got fucking hacked, cyber attacked. Is it just that one? Do we have the internet works? So it's
not us.
No, it's Al Master. They just got hacked. Cyber attacked.
It happens, I guess.
This is the second time in a week.
Wow.
I'm going to show you one of our news sources. I get all my news from, not all my news. I have a shit ton of different newspapers I read, a shit ton, and I'm always looking for more because I want to get opposing opinions on everything, everywhere. Come on.
Oh, that's right. I came over here for that.
I might want a coffee again because the sodas in the morning is not there. Okay, it's back. Okay.
Everybody can rest easy now.
Yeah. Oh my God. Syria is going to turn into a serious crap hole. Anyways, I'll type. I can't. Oh, like typing. I'm glad that everybody's starting to wake up to know that this is a fascist shithole. That makes me happy because once we admit what the problem is, we can fix the problem. See, I'm not just out here going, and woe is me. We live in a fascist shithole. It's not a Monty Python skit. Help! Help! I'm being oppressed. Did you see the oppression? He oppressed me. You know, you can't build a nation off of some watery tart throwing swords at anybody passing by. Aren't you impressed I remember that?
Yeah.
Geez, the war stuff is really starting to pop out there. It's pretty neat and interesting. Yeah, moms are kind of sensitive about this kind of stuff, and you know, they think you're talking about the peoples that are our mom's ages. They're from way long ago when everybody actually believed the propaganda brainwashing they received in grade school. And they're like, I pledge allegiance to the fascist flag of the United Whores of America.
Actually, my mom wasn't like that.
Well, your mom wasn't, but
my mom always said, fuck the man. I did not say the Pledge of Allegiance since the 5th grade. I'm just like, fuck that.
So we gotta fucking. There's a lot of war news going on, especially in the Middle East in general. Oh, motherfucking oh! Just a quick note on those tanker attacks. You know, if you go and you look at the fucking, the so-called the grainy black and white video, that the CENTCOM says is there evidence of Iran attacking the ships. Now, go to that video, and what I want you to notice is right down there by the water, it's called the water line because it makes a line on the ship where the water is in the air, and you can't see below it, but you can see things in the air.
See, I'm all over here.
You can be there, but I have to have a mouse. There. I can scoot over some too. I want to make some food. I'm getting hungry. Anyways, if you go to that, it's all over the news, so I don't even need to link it. You can find it anywhere at this point. But if you look at the water line on that video, you can see the red and the black on the ship. The water line is almost all the way covering up the red of the whole of the ship. Now, if you go back to the footage from Press TV or from anywhere else outside of NATO that showed the burning fucking tankers, you can see that that tankers that are on fire, a shit ton of the red is visible. So what this means is the video, whenever and wherever it was taken,
had a lot more in the ship.
Yeah, the ship was...
It was more weighed down into the water. More weighed down,
which means that video is old footage from some other trip the ship had made.
Not when you see the pictures of it on fire, it's way higher in the water.
Yeah,
you can see the little line underneath that shows how much under the water it is.
Now, just a quick note on physics. If a ship has a hole in it, and things aren't coming out of it. Now, remember, they claim the ship was hit in the engine room. The engine room ships are compartmentalized. There's things called not the bulkheads, oh god damn it,
the steery thing.
No, the doors on ship hatches.
Oh, right.
Okay. Ship hatches are really heavy. Each one of them weighs a couple 100 pounds or more, maybe, and they're watertight. So every compartment on a ship you can isolate with the hatches. Is that what I said?
Yeah.
And
I remembered.
So what that means is, because the ship was hit in the engine room, no cargo is stored in the engine room, no fuel is stored in there. The engine room is a big airy space where there's humans that breathe and walk around and do things
and push buttons
and levers. Did you know the engine room
pull things and
the engine room of every ship also has a helm? So every ship, like especially
helm, that was the word I was thinking of. And bridge is another one, huh?
Yeah. Well, every ship engine room has a helm where the ship can be piloted by the engineers. Like, they have no windows because it's way deep inside of the ship, and they can't see out and everything. And there's usually older ships, they don't have any cameras, so they actually have to drive blind, and like the observers from on top on the deck have to tell them left, right, whatever stuff and everything.
Again, World War II technology.
No, but I just thought it was cool that people might not know that a ship has two helms.
That's true, huh?
Yeah. But anyways, so if your ship gets hit in the engine room above the waterline, nothing's going to spill out and nothing's going to pour in. So what that means is the ships that got attacked in their engine rooms, they're not going to rise or sink. So the waterline on the burning ship is the original waterline. It didn't change from pre missile
black and white one. The ship is much lower in the water.
So that's totally not even. That video was filmed not that day at all. That was filmed probably when the ship pulled into port before loading up with the Japanese cargo. Okay, it was probably also, I don't know if I mentioned this on the last time I talked about the stupid video and the ship attack propaganda bullshit, is yeah, no, I did, so never mind. I remembered. Like, I can restating also on that stupid shitty video is it was crappy editing, and you could see the person putting the magnetic device on the ship, going down, and then standing back up and taking it off again. So whoever made that video, they put the object on there and then took it off.
Bad editing.
Bad editing. So, I mean, fascism just, it devolves into the shittiest, worst skilled peoples of all time. We're talking cubicle monkeys, because all they are is cubicle. That's a new term, cubicle monkeys.
That's a good one.
That's what we're calling U.S. slaves of the fascist empire, cubicle monkeys, because that's what they do. They're
cube apes.
They try to run Nintendo wars with the cubicle monkeys and their fucking predator drones and shit. And that's what this is. And then you got your computer engineers like Bob the fucking can't even fucking edit a propaganda video properly. How do you not notice that when you're like, hey boss, the job is done? And they're like, okay, rush it to CNN. And then the whole world is saying, hey, you has anybody even noticed that the editing was a shitty job? No one's even pointed that out.
Yeah,
we're the first ones that pointed that out.
Yeah.
How many times have we been number one on a news story?
It's been a lot. So, Melissa, you're more
informed
than most people are.
Than all of America, for sure.
Not that you get it from me, because I can't remember shit.
No, you come up with a lot of good stuff too. You need to stop putting yourself down. All right, that's not good. You need to be more confident and proud of your accomplishments.
Okay. I came from death.
There.
And I'm here.
Yes. You also have good ideas. You're the one that found the recipe for the soup that made it so yummy.
That was my cousin.
Yeah, but no, we had to find it.
So I had connections.
Yeah. I made a brand. I'm not a soup cook, okay? They call that a sauce chef or something.
Sous chef?
Whatever. But
I make good soup.
I don't make soup. Well, I didn't make soup before. And now, because Broken Jaw Girl here, I have to make soups and stuff. And I made a homemade soup. It had celery and carrots, onion and garlic, and chickpeas. And then that's all I was going to put in. And she's like, well, why don't you put that tomato soup in there?
Yeah,
and I did.
The Pacific Foods tomato soup. So it's not like Campbell's. It's way better.
It was one of those pussy hat soups.
Yeah, pretty much.
And you don't even have to add
the
water.
original recipe called for like 4 cups of cherry tomatoes. And well, we don't have that. No. So we used this other soup. It was pretty good.
Oh, I wanted to put this web link here. Bookmark this one. This is one of the best news sources. Now, it's really better to just have a Twitter account and to follow this newspaper on Twitter, because they put shit to Twitter pretty fast, and it's way better. It goes straight to individual articles, and their website's a little messy, and I actually prefer going to the Twitter because they post right away. But you want to have both followed on Twitter and bookmark, because if Twitter goes down and your account gets blown up because of the fascist whores, you want to be able to go to the website directly. I think they have a Facebook page too, but I don't really use Facebook. Yeah, it's a sucking echo chamber.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna ALMAS darn
DARNEWS
news.com, right? And they do, I think they have a fucking, let me go click on them. No, I'm already. I think they have a straight English version. There. Their website's under cyber attack right now. They might have an English version. I'm not sure. Oh, I just learned this last night. Some websites, they're different language versions. It looks all the same. They're not. So don't trust an English version website of some whatever country's fucking newspaper. Go, if you want the real news from them, go to their main language, their main page with their own national language, and use your browser translator. I actually prefer.
But it translates poorly. Does
it does.
It tell you the information? Okay.
If you know how to, read broken English, you can figure it out. Hey, man, I can't say that name, but he's there.
Hey, yo, mama.
Hey, he's from.
It's yo, mama.
Yeah, he's from a place on Renee's channel. He's from Renee's channel.
Oh,
I think.
Hey.
Or the Zero guy, one of the new YouTube places that live streams, and I watch.
Right on.
Or I'm not really watch. I just have it because it's something to listen to while I'm reading the news and cooking and stuff like that. But cool. Yeah, welcome to our home. We're doing pretty good. We're doing okay, I think. A little stressful in life, but we're working on things. But yeah, you go to the main language one and then translate it, and you're just going to have to deal with the fact that it's crappy English. Because what I found out is the stories are the departments, like the different languages are different departments, and it's like a total different newspaper or website depending on what language you're dealing in. I found that out by accident, but then I know I figured out last night. So
Wait, are we still talking about the newspaper?
In the language.
I remembered.
You're doing better. You're getting really good at that, huh? Like her short-term memory, because her brain got rattled from getting hit by a truck and all, but her short-term memory has been getting better, slowly but surely getting better.
I've come a long fucking way from coma girl.
Yeah, you definitely. I'm gonna go look at these articles I have. Oh yeah. What? Oh, that's hilarious. Anyways, 2 times in 1 week, the Houthis have striked a Saudi Arabian airport deep in the heart of Saudi Arabian territory, like way deep.
Deep in the heart of Saudi.
It's not Texas. But anyways, the first time was with a cruise missile, and the second time was with drones. And now the Houthis have come out and they said that they have cruise or probably ballistic missiles that are capable of reaching Israel. Yemen Houthis are now threatening to attack Israel. Now you got that going on with Iran and Syria and Lebanon and Gaza itself. I don't even consider the West Bank a part of Palestine anymore because they're always ass-kissing the Jews. Every time somebody does something in the international community is, I condemn that attack, then the Palestinian so-called president comes out, I condemn that attack. And I'm like, wow, you're fucking such a house nigger. Oh, because of fascism, I've created a new word, a new now. Oh, wait, it's not new. It's been around forever. But instead of calling house niggers, we're now calling them rodeo clowns. All right? It's pretty simple. When anybody is being a house nigger, we now refer to them as rodeo clowns, and that's the way to avoid the fascist censorship on the internet.
Honk honk.
Yeah, that rodeo clowns. So people that are house niggers, which is the slaves that work for the masters in the house, opposed to the field niggers. You see, and that's why can't you say, if you can't even say the word nigger, you can't even accurately discuss American history.
Okay, so if you watch like Saturday Night Live from the 70s,
like Eddie
Chevy
Murphy.
Chase is sitting there with Richard Pryor, and he's like, nigger, nigger.
Yeah.
And it's hilarious, apparently.
Yeah, but nowadays you're not allowed to say nigger on the internet. Like, apparently Facebook is stalking people offline to determine if they should be blocked on Facebook.
Well, just, it just shows how
Fascism.
we're going farther into the fascist shithole.
Yeah, every day, man, they get more and more fascist. Like today, Trump is promoting some dick nose trying to fucking make a new fucking congressional law to prohibit flag burning. Is it just the American flag or all flags? Because if you don't understand the rule of law, circus clown. Yeah. I like rodeo clowns because it reminds me of Family Guy. And how they're like, wasn't it Family Guy or was it The Simpsons? Or maybe it was Hank
I don't remember a rodeo.
Maybe it was that other one with Hank Hill or something. Yeah, it might have been. No, it was King of the Hill when his son wanted to be a rodeo clown and Hank was like, why? That's the worst thing ever. Like it's worse than a rodeo clown is just a kicked around dirty regular clown. I made a big deal, so I always use rodeo clown because I think of dirty clowns when I say rodeo clown.
Rodeo clowns, the worst of the clowns.
Yeah, like worse than a mime. Worse. And a mime is just a silent clown. But seriously, you can't even talk about American history if you're not allowed to say nigger. Because you had the field niggers. They were called field niggers. They weren't field hands. They weren't slaves that worked in the fields. They were field niggers.
They weren't migrants.
No, they were fucking, historically, they are fucking field niggers. The niggers that worked in the house were called house niggers. And back then, it wasn't even a derogatory term.
No,
The field niggers would call them that in a derogatory tone. Oh, you house nigger. Because what's worse, to be a slave?
Somehow it still became cliquish even when they were slaves.
It's human nature. Saudi Arabia, the mothers will turn in their daughters that try to escape. Because they're a fucking house nigger. Humans are pathetic, people. I mean, humans are pretty fucking pathetic. If you look at the average human morality, the average human intelligence, humans are fucking pathetic. We, the people up here that are aware of our surroundings, are aware of our own actions, we are the superior humans. And that's a fucking fact. That's a part of the propaganda where they talk about, people that think they're smarter are always bad people and stuff. No, because the majority of people are not very bright, and not very bright means evil. And people that are ethical and smart and care about their neighbors and their fellow human beings are superior to the average human being, which is pathetic. Not you, the good people, but the average human being is a pretty pathetic baseline.
I'm sorry, I was somewhere else.
That's okay. Anyways, the Houthis, which is the nation that's actually starving to death, they're in famine so bad, thousands of people a year or something are dying from starvation.
Just warming up on the famine.
And they are currently invading Saudi Arabia, and now they're threatening Israel because they're becoming, you know what? That hardship is turning them into the hardest motherfuckers on the planet. The Syrians, they're right behind the Houthis, becoming the hardest fucking motherfuckers on the planet. If you watch Pulp Fiction, where they're talking about getting some hard pipe hitting niggers to deal with the problems, well, that's what the Houthis in the Syrian army are right now. They're the hard pipe hitting niggers on the planet. Right.
I had 3 thoughts go through my head and they're gone.
It's just
totally forgotten.
It's like here's some news of the war shit in Syria again. I'm just throwing shit out all random. I have no schedule. Nothing's prepared or any of that crap. Saudi Arabia and America are all in the same room with the YPG and the SDF and Deir ez-Zor, and they're drawing up war plans on how to separate the Kurdish lands in Syria and Iraq and make it a fucking, if they want to call it a new nation called Peshmerga. And they're trying to break away and steal the farmland. They basically want to steal all the farmlands of the Middle East and give it to the Kurds. And make a Kurdish nation of fucking farmers, because apparently farmers are the most easily to manipulate motherfuckers on the planet, apparently. You want to know why? Because you have, that's what made America special in the first place. The whole shining city on the hill was because we had educated farmers. Our farmers knew fucking physics and chemistry, and they went out there and they solved fucking problems. They invented machines, new ways of farming, and we had all kinds of food because we had smart, educated farmers. Well, since that time, the Western Empire has dumbed down all the farmers of the world because they're easy to manipulate if you don't know dick.
And it's not that the farmers aren't going to school, because I know when I was in Wisconsin, there were plenty of the young people who were going to grow up and take over the farm, and they were going to college.
Yeah.
But,
apparently
they weren't really learning all that much.
Well, they turned the college campuses.
They're told other things that aren't necessarily true or helpful.
Right. And also the college campuses became, and the curriculum became a battleground. And now, depending on what fucking college you go to, it's either a liberal or a conservative shithole. There's no, in fact, the only good college education in America is going to come from your local community colleges, if you're in a place that respects facts. And it actually comes down to each professor. So it's really about the human resources departments and who they hire to be professors and stuff. But I was very, very lucky, and I went to college in that time period, that twilight of fucking freedom in America, right before the 2016 fascist lockdown. And I had really good teachers, and I learned from really good people, real science, real political science, real history. And I got a good education, but I don't even know if that's available anymore. So not sure. Oh, good question. I'm actually going to side more or less with the Japanese owner, that they were hit most like, actually somebody came right out on Twitter, a fucking Predator drone piloted most, well, they think America, but I think it was by Israel. They used Hellfire missiles on them. Okay, that's what I think. They were hit with the Hellfire missiles. That's the missiles on the drones, and they Nintendo war shoot it. So I think it was Hellfire missiles by an Israeli owned and operated Predator drone. That's what I think. Also, too, because, okay, why would I say that? In the hours before the ships were attacked, Iran was shooting down U.S. drones. And what that means is they were shooting down Predator drones. See how that was never up in... See, there's shit happening that nobody knows about because militaries keep secrets from each other. Like, it's not always about being the big showy thing. Sometimes Iran will shoot some shit down, or Russia will blow some shit up, and they won't tell anybody in the news that they did it because they're keeping it a secret, because you do something and you keep it a secret because you want to see how your enemy responds. Sometimes you just want to fuck with them, right? Because humans, what's the normal human behavior? We're braggarts. We always want to talk shit about what we did and look at how badass that fucking shit was, right? Well, in military operations, sometimes you want to do something and be silent about it and be like, I don't know. All right? It's a strategy. It unnerves your enemies. So when you fuck their shit up and then you don't go out there bragging about it, it really fucks with their head. Because if you notice, Iran's always bragging about their shit. Like just this week, they came out with their super advanced surface-to-air missiles that can track 6 targets at once and stuff. And it turned out to be just a ripoff of the USA THAAD. Actually, an upgrade. It actually is better than the THAAD because it's on the turret that can rotate. But it's still old Cold War technology. But yeah, I think it was Israeli owned and operated drones. Oh, so before the ship attacks, Iran was shooting down Predator drones right in that location. Everything is so fucking, it was such a frame job. Every bit of the scenario, once you get the full picture of what was happening, it's a total fucking frame job. And people are going to believe it if they want to, because they think their country's, USA, and they want to go to war with Iran because they think it's a stupid fantasy world that they live in that they can win a war with Iran. You can't, because guess what? That's the trap. It's a fucking trap. Let me explain what the trap is. This is why I sadly have given up hopes of America ever being invaded in my lifetime, because they don't have to. Invading a country costs a lot of money, and they just don't fucking have to. China, Russia, Iran, the Middle East, they're all building their own internet. They have they're massively increasing their resources into increasing their farming. So they're becoming food and energy independent and technology independent. And what they're doing is they're building a civilization next to Western civilization. And what the trap is, Trump is kind of the trap, because he's trashing Western civilization. He's more or less single-handedly dismantling all of Western civilization. All of our laws, our customs and norms that holds us all together as a civilization, like trade agreements and freedom of speech, All of these things is inherently a part of what actually constitutes the foundations of our civilization. And without these things, international laws, the laws of land warfare, freedom of speech, all of this stuff, that's taking apart our civilization. That is the death of our civilization. And Trump's killing us. He's killing our civilization, all of it. And Eastern civilization is rising up, and they're making a new civilization without us. And what's going to happen, here's what the trap is. They're provoking the US and NATO forces into attacking in a very poor fashion. They're setting up traps. And part of that trap is Iran has a shit ton of missiles. And yes, go.
Sorry. Go. Wouldn't it be funny if a flag factory burned down?
That would be hilarious. Would they all go to prison for flag burning? No, they're rich, so that law doesn't apply to them.
Right.
Now, and people on Twitter and the internet like make jokes about me when I tell them how many troops we have in the Middle East. I mean, the U.S. military is only so big. It's bigger than it used to be when I was in. When I was in, there was only like 100,000 combat armed soldiers. Now there's more than that in the army alone. There's probably 200,000 to 300,000 combat. I think maybe as high as 500,000 combat armed soldiers and currently enlisted. But they also include pilots in that shit, and all. So it's not really a good number. And they might even include drone pilots as combat arms. Fuck if I know. But so there's right around, let's just say at the upper limit, there's like 500,000 combat armed soldiers, and you need 3 to 1 support elements for every combat armed soldier you have. Remember, this is including all of the reserves and National Guards. Remember, reserves are combat support. National Guard is reserve combat arms. And uh-oh.
I'm getting tea.
Okay. I want another coffee, kind of.
Should I put water on for you?
Yeah. You want to get that for me?
Sure.
I make my own stuff, but she helps sometimes. I do the dishes and most of the cooking, so it's okay if she sometimes does me a solid like that. I'm not really slave driving. I do feel bad sometimes when you do things that are nice for me, because I'm like, wow, I feel so lazy for not doing it myself. And so, yeah.
Well, I know what it's like to be expected to always cook and clean, and I'm not going to do that.
Killer is so odd. It's okay, girl. I don't know why she acts like she's a good girl. It's okay.
It's because she wants to chew on herself, and she's very bothered.
She keeps walking around everywhere.
I know. I think that's because she's bothered.
Well, I didn't give her any. We're totally off of the chicken.
We're taking them off of the bad food.
Not only the bad food, but even off of the chicken. Let me put it to you. You guys know how fucking poor we are. Oh, let me finish up about the U.S. military and the trap. And then I'll go into the dogs. So we have about 500,000 combat armed soldiers. That's including our National Guard, our pilots, special ops, all of it. And that means we have about 1.5 million. No, we have more than that support troops. Because I looked it up, and I think we have about 3 million people between the Army and the Marines, the Air Force, the Navy, and all of that. I think there's like 3 million enlisted people. So if you take it all, if you squeeze out every fucking limp dick fucking rear D motherfucker and put them on the books as a soldier, America has maybe 3.5 million people in uniform. That's it. 320 million people, about 3.5 million total in uniform. Now, right now, I remember I just told you out of that 3.5 million, only half a million are actually combat soldiers, combat operations. Right now in Iraq, we have well over 50,000 of those there. Then we have at least 10 to 20,000 like in Syria, all spread out. We also have several thousand combat armed soldiers hanging out in Sudan. And We've recently just sent an extra 1,000, so we have, at least as far as what the news is reporting, 5,000 soldiers in Poland right now. We have a lot of our forces are spread out through Germany. There's Hawaii. They're out on the islands, so that's not a part of the mainland. So if you look at all the war stuff we have going on and all the carrier, we also have a carrier group in the Persian Gulf. 2 carrier groups. 2, not 1, but 2. I actually saw a picture of it to confirm that it was 2 carrier groups. So you're looking at a couple tens of thousands of people right there for the Navy, which means they have Navy SEALs. That's a part of your combat arms. And all the pilots, that's combat arms. So that's a part of that 500,000 combat armed soldiers number. We have probably all told at least 100,000 combat armed soldiers somewhere in the Middle East right now. And they're sending more and more and more. Then you got the shit in Europe. But whatever. Does anybody even know what we're doing in the African continent? That's a different command. That's AFRICOM. I think they call it AFRICOM. What about South America? Who do we have in South America? So the U.S. military is spread extremely, very thin right now. Okay. Oh, I should work on my stuff, huh?
Well, I started it.
Thank you. And, you even got the coffee there for me. Thanks. And I'm not even having enough coffee to last until we go back in to get our town stuff done again. But that's okay. Because I got enough soda to last until then. So what the trap is Iran is looking for an excuse to spring the trap. Basically, what Iran's doing is building an alliance to attack American forces in the Middle East. We have 50,000 in Iraq, 10 to 20,000 in Syria, and there's a bunch of reserve forces camped out in Sudan. That's an ally. And then we got all that Navy assets, 2 carrier groups floating around the Persian Gulf, which is tens of thousands of people. I mean, an aircraft carrier has 3,000 to 5,000 personnel on it. But,
floating around, it's funny.
Right, so that's the 2 aircraft carriers alone accounts for, 7 to 10,000 sailors right there.
Sailors.
And one of those is a marine landing craft too, a marine aircraft carrier, which is tinier and not. So that's a lot of combat arms Marines right there. And it's a lot of gay sex going on. But
on the ships and stuff.
Yeah.
That's what happens when people of the same gender are all kept in close quarters and locked up.
And you gotta also remember that a aircraft carrier has 5 to 7 other ships with it, destroyers and shit like that. So each one of those are smaller ships, so they need less people, but each one of them has over 1,000 personnel. So that's like, say, an extra 5,000. So you have the aircraft carriers, let's call that like 8,000. Oh, it's boiling. So that would be like.
You're gonna take over from here.
Oh, you were gonna pour it for me?
Well, I can, but
I'll do it.
Whatever.
You already did the hard part for me. Thank you. So
sure.
2 aircraft carriers. Let's just call that 7,000 to be conservative on the numbers. Then each one has 5,000, also conservative. So that would be 10,000 plus the 7. That's what? 17,000 right there, right? So 17,000 conservative at the low end, which means there's way more than that. There's, say, 17,000 sailors and Marines floating around the Persian Gulf. And then the 50,000 Army troops in Iraq. So 50, you're at 67,000. Then you got at least 10,000 in Syria. That's 77,000. So that's just what everybody's able to deduce from the hardware. And so So if we don't have 100,000 combat arms in the Middle East right now, we will soon, because they keep sending more. Now, if I remember the earlier number, 500,000 combat armed soldiers. If we have fucking almost like 70,000 combat armed soldiers in the Middle East right now, that's like a sixth of our fighting force. Now, if you recall what I said about how militaries have to operate at a bare minimum, you have to work in thirds. 1/3 fighting, 1/3 training, 1/3 recovering from war, reconstituting, resting.
Well, who does all the cooking?
They're not combat arms, but they are a part of your force. That's a part of the 3 million, not the 500,000 combat arms. Right. So if you have 500,000 combat arms forces, divide that by 3, right? You come up to just over 120 some odd thousand or something.
Wait, what were we doing?
500,000 divided by 3.
That would be 1.
Roughly estimating.
I don't know what you said. Okay, now I forgot the numbers. I used to be really good at this.
Well, what's
then
500
my brain
divided
got
by 3?
500 divided by 3 would be let's see, 500,
After I
it's
get
16.
16.
Or no,
160.
160.
So if you look at the numbers, America has a complete, ready to go, fighting war, shooting, taking, getting shot at, doing combat missions, pilots bombing shit. America has a total force available of 160,000 combat armed soldiers. Now, if we have 75,000, that's half.
She's right. The military is sort of like a target scenario.
Oh. See? Well, it's logistics, and it doesn't matter if it's an army or something else. Logistics is always the same. It's the logistics of the matter. So America right now has almost half of its combat ready or combat deployable forces already in the Middle East. Half. So Iran, what if they're trying to provoke an excuse so they can unleash the dogs of war on the American forces across Syria and Iraq and the Persian Gulf? You see what I'm saying?
But aren't you saying that that's where most of the soldiers are?
That's the trap. They've been poking America to make us send more and more soldiers into the Middle East.
So why don't they attack us at the Mexico border or some shit?
Iran doesn't have control of the Mexican border.
Well, can't they take control if they think they're so big?
Why do you think America's losing their shit about Russia having combat forces in Venezuela? Because Russia has airlift capabilities that Iran and the Middle East nations don't. They have heavy lift air assets that the other only. That's why America, Russia, and China are called superpowers, and not England anymore, because they have heavy. Not America, because America is unique in having a huge, ginormous aircraft carrier fleets, but we also have heavy lift capabilities. All of those jumbo jets that are civilian aircraft can easily. There's actually laws that if war is declared by Congress, that the U.S. Air Force can take over the civilian jumbo jet fleet and use them for heavy lift operations. So America's been fascist from the get-go, just so you know. But the point being is, I can't remember if this is my second or third cup of coffee. But the point being is everybody hates.
Remember very well.
Everybody hates America today in the world. We're the ones torturing, and we're the ones that are enabling Saudi Arabia. We're the ones enabling Israel. We're the ones who are either doing the evil ourselves or we're funding it via third parties. and such. So we are.
Yeah, we're the bad guys.
We're
What
the
about
Nazi
that?
Empire. You know how it wasn't just Germany in the Nazi Empire? It was Germany, Italy, and Japan. Well, now it's America, Saudi Arabia, and England, or something like that. Or what's the other one? Israel. You know. So it's the same thing, just a couple different names, but the exact same situation. And the world knows this. We're not fooling anybody. The only people being fooled are American slaves that think they're all, you know, America. But the fact of the matter is America has half of their available fighting forces in the Middle East right now, all because of the B team and man-child Trump. He's lying to you. He's doing the opposite of what he said he was going to do.
It's a troop of rodeo.
And that's the trap. Now, let me throw you a what if. What if Iran attacked those ships? Because Iran has...
And then went and rescued people?
Yeah, Iran has drones, armed drones, too. In fact, they have their own version of the Predator drones because they captured a Predator drone and reverse engineered it. And Iran is actually a drone superpower in the world.
Nice.
They're second to America. I'm pretty sure Iran has a larger drone fleet than Russia.
Wow.
You see, different nations have different flavors of militaries. Yep, Melissa's pretty much nailed it. But that's what the trap is to provoke America into some kind of attack that the world sees, and then Iran can have the moral high ground in declaring a war on them. And they're trying to gain, build an alliance of the Gulf nations and the Arab states to form an alliance against the NATO powers. And that's where the PR and the propaganda comes in. Just like America censoring their own peoples, and you're getting fed stories like on CNN and your zero hedge fake alternative media and stuff. Did you have something?
No, I'm just feeling the edges
wanna...
of the numb part
okay,
of my chin.
I don't want to leave you out if you have
No, I'll try to say something if I have.
Okay.
I'm spacing out and coming back.
You're getting
sometimes.
better at it, actually talking like you're supposed to. So that's the trap, is to provoke America into some kind of an attack that can be proven that they're doing something heinous, and then Iran is going to rally Iraq, and Syria and Lebanon to attack the forces of America that are on the ground or the water in the Middle East. And to tell you the truth, America's equipment isn't very good. It's Cold War technology, and it might have been good in the Cold War, but it sucks today compared to what's new out there. Now, this is where the difference of national flavors of militaries comes in. Russia's strategy for their military is spend as little money as possible to get the most advanced, accurate, super duper stuff possible. So they have the best, most modern weapon systems, the best airplanes, the best missiles, the best launching systems, the best radars, the best everything, military stuff. The best new lasers, the best hypersonic and supersonic weapons, the best nukes, the best fucking everything.
Wait, is that Russia?
Yes.
Okay.
But their stuff is moderately expensive, but that's why their strategy is to spend as little money as possible. Russia is only like the fourth or third largest military spender in the world, even though they have the best military stuff. So they get the most bang. Russia gets the most bang for their buck. So they don't have a whole lot of what they have, but what they do have is the best in the world. Iran, on the other hand, their strategy is to make a whole bunch of cheap stuff. It's not the best by a long shot. It's cheap. Like a lot of their missiles fail to even launch. But they
lots
have
of duds.
They have a lot of duds, but they have a lot of them, a whole bunch of stuff.
So if you get through.
So instead of having, 7 aircraft carriers, Iran has several thousand speedboats with missiles attached to them. And they're actually suicide vehicles. They're not even playing around. They have a fleet of speedboat suiciders. They also they have battle plans, and they already told the world what their battle plans are. They know how many targets the U.S. radar systems can track for each aircraft carrier, guided missile destroyer, and everything. And they know the numbers. They did the math, and they built enough crappy stuff to overwhelm U.S. systems. So they're trying to provoke America into an attack because they know what they got. They know what America is capable of, and they think they pretty much got the fight won, numbers-wise. So they're trying to provoke America into attack on Iran. That's what they're trying to do. They want America to attack. They're just fucking, every time America's like, poke, poking America, right? Trying to make them attack. Because what they have is they got those speedboats with missiles. They also got all along the Persian Gulf and the Sea of Oman, I think it's called. They have medium-range ballistic missiles that they have thousands of them, which they have actually no intent. They were built with no intentions of them actually hitting their targets. They're a distraction. What they're for is to overload the U.S. radar tracking systems on the aircraft carriers and stuff. So that's going to put a screen of fucking random targets that's going to baffle the American systems and the American personnel, because at the root of it, they should have a do-it-yourself Pinterest. That's hilarious. Do-it-yourself war. And but their ballistic missiles are designed to just throw a bunch of shit up into the air, and it's like a flock of seagulls on the radars. Now, then you got missiles from the speedboats.
Iran.
Very funny how that works, huh? And the speedboats' goal is their suicide missiles, their suicide vessels, and they are really hoping that those rockets actually hit their targets and from under the radar, because at the waterline, it's really hard to sense things. You have to use the eyeballs, actually, because you can use sonar under the water and radar above the water, but at the waterline, it's really hard to track things. It's a technology barrier right there. Very hard to detect things floating on the water and things being shot at water level. So they got that attack with the ballistic missile cloud. And then behind those medium range or short range ballistic missiles, what they have is cruise missiles and Predator armed and missiles for their Predator type of drones. And during the hell fucking fire of fucking ballistic missiles that's going to scramble all the fucking radars, they will shoot precision missiles and rockets to destroy U.S. naval boats, carriers, destroyers, all of it. So gone. Oh, they also have submarines. Iran has a shit ton of really crappy submarines. And remember, Iran sees military assets as expendable, unlike other nations. So personnel and...
So does that mean that they would use the submarines as suicide vehicles too and crash into a boat underwater?
No, they're trying... Because Iranian submarines are only silent if they're on battery power and not moving. They don't have the stealth technology like Russia and China does. So their strategy, once again, is to keep everybody distracted above water while they launch torpedoes from underwater. There you go. I hope that explains the trap that Iran's been building over the decades for the past 40 years.
Well, they had to be doing something.
I know. They got to pass the time somehow. But anyways, that is why... No, I'm not saying Iran attacked those tanker ships, because Iran is actually a fairly ethical nation. And I don't know how, if they're oppressing their own peoples, but they're not executing and beheading 15-year-old boys, and they're not keeping their women as slaves. No matter how oppressed the Iranian women are, they are not Saudi Arabia.
Well, it's not like Iran's going around attacking like other countries just because or whatever.
Not because, they're doing it for a reason.
Well,
and yes, the Middle East has a plan of driving fucking Israel into the ocean. Before we die, it might not be this year, it might not be 5 years from now, but Iran.
But soon and for the rest of our lives.
But it probably will be within 5 years. But before we grow old and die, we're going to see Israel cease to be a nation.
Well, they shouldn't be anyway. They were just made a nation after World War II because, you know, they needed somewhere to put all the Jews.
Their land.
Jews.
Yeah, Israel is and always has been a nation of land thieves. They're land thieves. They're criminals. They're basic bitch criminals, land thieves. They went there and they ejected people from their homes and stole them.
Yeah.
So.
And then they're all uppity when those people had a problem with it.
So, but we're going to live to see Israel cease to be a nation. Just so you know. And this whole fucking thing with America's gone around burning crops now through the Middle East. I think they're using it. It's actually because they're strong-arming the tribal leaders of the Kurdish areas. I think the crops they're burning is from the warlords, the Kurdish warlords in the regions that are refusing to join the U.S. NATO plan. So they're burning their crops as a lesson on what happens if you don't follow and do what America tells you to do.
Do you see what happens?
Yeah. No food for you. You said no to America, burn your crops down. Anybody who defies America in the Middle East, ISIS magically appears and starts setting their farms on fire.
Because ISIS is us.
Pretty much. Oh, also in the news, Turkey is flat out directing their terrorists in Idlib to attack the Russian air bases and Russian personnel. And as we speak, Russia is sending 2 ships full of fucking Russian tanks and probably special forces over to Syria. They have 2
Is it hot in here?
yeah, probably. They have 2 heavy lift aircraft that is capable of carrying tanks, and they're saying it's making those airplanes are making 1 flight a day. So they're in a constant state of delivering heavy equipment into Syria. That's Russia. And they're sending the Russian special forces, more Russian special forces. Now, Turkey said they're fortifying their so-called observation posts with armor, and they just declared that they're sending their special forces into Idlib. So we are probably going to see in the upcoming days Russia and Turkey having, I don't know if it's going to break into actual open warfare, but it's definitely going to be special forces on special forces combat between Turkey and Russia.
Special forces on special forces.
Yeah. And that's a major deal when 2 nations are fucking sending in their special ops to fight each other like that. 2 big nations. Turkey's not a small military. They're dirty bastards, but they're not some tiny tin pot military place. They're no Iraq to Turkey.
Oh. Turkeys are stupid.
Yeah. So that's happening. And now you have the Houthis threatening that, saying that they can hit Israel from Yemen. And they're already proving they can hit targets deep in the heart of Saudi Arabia. And they're actually invading Saudi Arabia. Taking over. Saudi Arabia might cease to be a nation on the map too. They picked the fight with the wrong people, and it looks like that people might rise up and just wipe them off the fucking map is what it's looking like to me. I don't know. The whole map's going to change.
I don't think wild turkeys are stupid.
No, they are just not as stupid. Wild turkeys.
They're more crafty.
Wild turkeys know not to stare at the sky when it's raining. Okay, they're smart enough to not drown in a drizzle. And they can.
Do they still do the thing?
Probably. And so with this whole big trap, you have Yemen, Syria, Iraq, Iran, Russia, and China that are all going to unleash the dogs of war on all NATO forces in the Middle East and northern Africa.
What kind of dogs are they?
War dogs.
Nice. Is that like the Cerberus?
No more Saudi Arabia. Yeah, but I see that day coming in the future too. Because what's happening is the whole world is seeing how they're weak, and their nation, the people themselves, are going to see how weak the king is now. And there's going to be a civil war at some point. And when Saudi Arabia breaks up into civil war, that's going to be a level of chaos we haven't seen in that region since ever.
I hope the women rise up and crush them.
I hope they silently slit throats in the night.
Or poison them with the meals they cook.
I'd still prefer the slitting of throats.
Well, that's pretty good.
You see, this is why you don't beat your women and you treat them nice.
Because you have to sleep sometime.
If you have to sleep with a person, you damn well better treat them with a bit of respect. And also, don't get in bed with crazy. You know what I'm saying? Yes. Don't get in bed with crazy and don't pretend like you own it. So yeah, Houthis are whooping the shit out of NATO at this point. It's funny.
Woohoo!
Swiss paper. Okay, Swiss paper stating the fucking obvious that real life is doing the opposite of what Trump is claiming.
You know what's so funny about that picture of Trump is it looks like he's wearing a hair hat because you can see where his, bald line is, and that's just a hair hat he's wearing.
It probably is actually a hair hat.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if he uses Gorilla Glue. Is there anybody else watching?
I think he hot glues it on.
Is anybody available watching the show on here or something? Let's see what they're saying. Oh, yeah. Here's the other thing. If you're talking, all that talk about how the U.S. sanctions on Iran is crippling their economy? It's not true. It slowed them down a bit, but they had enough reserve cash that it's not a big deal. Iran is actually zeroing out their own dependence on oil. Before the Trump sanctions, Iran's economy their national economy only got 30% of their revenue from oil exports. And they're now reducing that down to zero. They're diversifying their economy and by selling Iran is now an exporter of medicines.
Oh, there's it right here.
She just likes attention, that's all.
She likes the butt spank.
They're becoming exporters of mine. They got a lot of mineral wealth, and they've got a lot of mining operations they're ramping up, and they're big makers of synthetic medications, like all of your Prozac and Wiener pills and stuff like that. Well, Iran's the producer of those things now. Oh God, dogs.
They probably want a WALK.
Probably. So Iran's economy doesn't depend on oil anymore. Oh, also, did I mention that Trump destroyed the U.S. monopoly over the internet? China and Russia now have their own independent cell phone operating systems. No longer is Android and iOS the only choices on your phone. I wonder if those will even work in America. If they'll be or if that's a
not when Trump's done with it.
But I'm thinking no, because they want Americans to buy their stuff too. So the question is, are the tech lords of America? Go sit down, Mocha. Okay, go sit. Why are you up on the table and shit? Oh God, dogs. Puppy, sit. Go sit. Good girl. Okay. I'm sorry. We'll probably come back later in the evening or something if news happens.
We
But
gotta go walk dogs.
these dogs are
apparently.
being bastards, and we got to go take
Bye. I
them
have to go
outside.
change.
All right, so we'll see you guys later.
Oh,
We got dogs. We got a doggy situation here.